Y'all, this was one of the funnest, if that's a word, project that I've ever done. The reason why I say that is because if you can crochet anything flat and be able to put it on a t-shirt, that's amazing. That's pretty fun. You can do anything, but I just chose to do this cactus. It's like I went to my yarn wall. I just want to make a little stupid cactus, but it's pretty fun though. Let's go do it. Okay, first, get yourself a t-shirt. You're also going to need some lime green yarn, some terracotta colored yarn, some brown yarn. You're going to need a needle, a You need some scissors, 4 millimeter hook, and some liquid stitch fabric glue. I got this from Joann's. It's fairly cheap, but it works really well. Now let's get started. We're going to be working on our first piece, which is the middle piece of our cactus. And what we're going to do is we're going to start with a chain 20. So putting our first double crochet in the third chain from the hook, we're going to double crochet 16 times after that. So you're going to have a total of 17 double crochets. Now we arrived at our last stitch in this row, and what we're going to do is we're going to do 4 double crochets in that one stitch at the end. At this point, we're going to be working on the other side of that beginning chain, and we're going to to double crochet in each one of those chains going across. Make sure that at the same time that you're double crocheting in these chains here, that you're holding that end piece of yarn and you're going to be crocheting over top of that. So at this point you should have 38 double crochets. Now that you made it to the end, you can just do a simple slip stitch in the first double crochet that you did. Go ahead and cut your yarn. I like to trim unneeded pieces of yarn. Let's move on to our second piece. And for this one, we're going to do a chain 14. Starting in the third chain from the hook, we're going to do 11 double crochets across this first side. As we arrive at the last chain on this side, we're going to do 4 double crochets in that last one. Now here's our yarn end here. We're going to pull that close because you see there'll be a hole there. So we're going to pull that close. And now we're going to start crocheting over top of it. And for the second side of this chain, we're going to do double crochet in the next 4 chains. Next, we're going to do a single crochet decrease. We're just trying to pinch it a little bit here. And we're going to end it off with half double crochet in the next 6 chains. Now here's where our yarn end is going to come into play. If you're crocheting over top of it, what it's going to do when you pull it is going to cinch everything so that it bends it a little bit. And then it ends up looking like a cactus. Yay! Okay, keep it together, people. We have a third piece to do. Now for this third piece, we're going to start with a chain 14. Starting in the 3rd chain from the hook, we are going to do a double crochet in the next 5 chains. Next, we're going to do a half double crochet. Do a single crochet decrease. Now we're going to end the side with a double crochet in the next 3 chains. We are arriving at our last chain here, and we're going to do 4 double crochets in that last chain. Now pull that end strand there. Now we're going to start working on the other side, and we're going to start crocheting around that end strand there. Don't forget to do that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to double crochet in the next 3 chains. Next, we're gonna half double crochet in the next 9 chains. Now we can just cut the yarn from this point. Now we can pull that little ending piece to make it cinch up a little bit and bend up a little bit. That looks nice. Looks like a little arm. Now this cactus needs a pot. So that's what we're going to work on next. We're going to start with a chain 8. These are going to be really short rows now. Okay, going in the second chain from the hook, we are going to single crochet in that one, and then we're going to single crochet in each chain going all the way across. And you should have 7 single crochets. Now moving on to our second row, we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to single crochet evenly all the way across. Again, we'll have 7 single crochets. Moving on to row number 3, what we're going to do is chain 1, and then we're going to do 2 single crochets in the first stitch. Now we're going to do a single crochet in the next 5 stitches. And then now we're going to do 2 single crochets in the last stitch. For row number 4, we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to single crochet evenly all the way across. At this point, you should be able to start to see it start from the bottom as small and then slowly widen as we go. Now for row number 5, we're going to chain 1, and again we're going to evenly single crochet all the way across. Now for row number 6, what we're going to do is we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to do 2 single crochets in the first stitch, and then single crochet in the next 7 stitches. And in the last stitch, we're going to do 2 single crochets. Now for rows 7 through 9, what we're going to do is we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to single crochet evenly. Now for row number 10, we're going to be working in the back loops. So we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to single crochet evenly going across, but in the back loops. Now for row number 11, we're going to be working in both loops. We're going to chain 1, and we're going to single crochet evenly. Now we're going to cut our yarn. Make sure you pull in all your ends and tighten them so it won't have a sloppy pot. Now grab your needle and some brown yarn. We're just going to pull out enough yarn to be able to sew across there. It doesn't have to be a long piece. Now thread your yarn. Like I said, we're going to be just doing a little stitch going across there, and you see that little lip there? We are going to sew across that. This isn't rocket science. We just need to have a stitch going across there to give the pot some depth to make it look a little realistic. Now this is our end product here. And so what we're gonna do is we have a couple ends that we need to sew in a little bit. And what we're gonna do with that is we're not gonna sew it all the way through. We're just gonna sew it through to the middle of it so that it doesn't come out on the sides. And also when you're sewing this, make sure that you're not pulling the needle through the front, whereas you could see all the sewing stitches that you made. We don't wanna do that. Just do it along the surface of the back. Also, don't pull your stitches so tight. If you do, you could just use the needle to pull your pot into shape. So as you can see, I'm trying to keep as much of the strings as possible, but also don't want it to show through on the other side. I'm doing that because I do like to have my appliques have a little bit of cushioning on it for some reason. I don't know, I just like that better, but that's completely up to you. So now you're going to take all your other cactus pieces and you're going to sew in those ends also. Now grab your t-shirt. I like to place the shapes on there to make sure that it has a good placement. So that's what I'm doing here. Once I made sure all my placements are right, I'm going to grab my liquid stitch. First and foremost, you want to mix it up and you just squeeze it and move it around, shake it a little bit. Once that's done, you can start gluing. Another thing that we might need is a little piece of cardboard because I'm afraid that this glue is going to go through my t-shirt. So I grabbed a little tiny piece of cardboard that I had lying around and I put that inside the t-shirt and right behind our applique. I let that dry for a couple hours because I just needed a break. So it was glued down at this point. It's not a requirement. It's completely up to you. Now I'm going to start gluing down my actual cactus piece. I'm putting it inside of the pot. So I grabbed my ream of paper because that's what I'm going to use to hold this down when it dries. So go ahead and grab your heavy item and have it ready. Continue gluing your pieces onto your cactus. I'm actually not exactly sure why at this moment in time I thought that this looked like a cactus. I really don't know why I thought it looked like a cactus, and I was like, yeah, we're ready to go. Let's put this heavy item on there. That looks nothing like a cactus. Sometime during the waiting period, I came along and I stuck some sewing pins in there. That's what you see. And now that right there, people, that looks like a cactus. I was very, very impressed and happy with this. I am not going to show you what it looked like when I took the book off, because that glue slides. So you want to go and use your pins to make sure you keep your shape of your cactus. I grabbed a pair of pliers to get the pins out so I don't stick myself, and besides, I had them stuck in there so deep that I had it actually stuck in the cardboard, so the pliers made it easier for me to get those pins out without hurting myself. So here goes our cactus. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Bye.